Relax, everyone. It's going to be a nice morning. Let's do this together in 3, 2, 1.
Joey, the box, with its implications of rigidity and squareness, symbolizes unimaginative thinking.
He is deranged.
I don't care. This is the morning stream.
Good morning, all, and welcome to TMS. It is Thursday, July 21st, and it is 2022, as you all are aware. I'm Scott Johnson, and that is Brian Hibbett.
That's right. All of that is right. So here we are, 2322, episode 2322 in 2022.
Oh,
so,
crap. You're the one that noticed this time. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Yeah, I missed that entirely. I feel like I was starting to look toward, like, when will be the next big thing? Well, it would be like 2/23/23.
I mean, tomorrow will be 7/22/2022. I mean, that's something.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. The 7 should be a 2, but yeah, we already had that on 2/22/22.
That's right. And our next episode, obviously, our couch cushions don't count as episodes, but our next episode will be 2323.
Oh, there you go. And if you're European, you flip it all backwards and you got a whole new number.
Right. Oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah, so somebody just pointed out, TRPW pointed out, episode 23, 22 on 21, on the 21st.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Count it down.
There's something there. Nothing really of note, but there's something there.
Yeah, I'm not moving to Europe for this, okay? I'm not moving there for it, but I like mentioning it. Yeah. Anyway, I got a funny story to tell you if you'd like to hear it.
I'd love to hear it.
Great, because it's a kind of a hoot. So, Van Straw, my little grandson,
yes,
is 3.5 now and is going through the machinations of potty training. Okay.
Oh, fun! All right. Yeah.
He's doing okay, doing pretty good. Like, you know, when he has to pee, he'll come grab his mom and go, "I need to go potty," that kind of thing, and she'll take him and whatever. He's very private about it. Doesn't, you know, as maybe you should be. I don't know, but he's very, like, you know, he doesn't want lookers on. He doesn't want. It's not a show. You know.
Yeah.
So he barely even likes his mom around, let alone anybody else. So yesterday he's over at the house. He's here last night, and he walks up to my wife, to Kim, and says, "Nana, I need to go potty," because Taylor was somewhere else. So we said, okay, the kids are over for dinner. So Kim goes, "Okay, no problem. Let's go, buddy." So they go run into the bathroom, and I'm just so proud of him because he's at this little stage. You know, it's important. Where we pee matters, you know. So I come around the corner, and I poke my head around the corner. I just kind of go around like this, and he's standing there, you know, trying to pee. Not going yet, but he's trying.
Yeah.
And he's doing the stand-up, you know, a little man pose or whatever. And I turn my head around, and I go, "Hey!" And he goes, these are his exact words and exact tone. I wish I could have recorded it. I would have loved to have had this audio. He says, "Hey, go away," he says to me. Just like that. Just like that voice. Is like excited to see it, like, "Hey, go away. Like, go. Get. This is a private
He's kind
moment."
of getting, oh my God, he's developing it's almost a sarcasm. What is it? It's like, go away.
I don't know what to call it. I don't know what that is.
Yes.
I don't know if there's a word for it, but it was so funny. I could not stop laughing. Which didn't help any because he just gets self-conscious and, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
and I think he got maybe 2-3 drops out before he gave up. But
sure.
But
yeah, that's great. Oh my gosh,
it was a riot. Yeah, he's doing. I mean, 3.5. Can you believe that? That's insane.
Yeah. Holy cow! I can't believe how time flies.
I was in my 40s when he was born, and now I'm not. Anyway, so there's that, and it was fun, and we had homemade curry, and that was great. And I showed Dylan my Steam Deck.
Nice.
I could pronounce that properly.
Oh, I didn't know you had one of those.
Yeah, right here.
That's cool. You haven't mentioned it.
Didn't I? Oh, I get it. You're being sarcastic, I see.
I've mastered the sarcasm.
It's very good. It was so good I suddenly missed it. But yeah, he was all like jazzed about that, and we had fun and sat around, and I almost ate a bee, and it was a good night.
Oh, tell me, so you just like almost, was it in your food or was it?
I was outside laughing, and it just almost just went in my mouth and then came out.
Oh
like,
my gosh. Wow.
Like that, and I went, blah, 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 blah. And I thought about what that might have meant for me, and catastrophized about what it's like to have your throat bitten by or stung by a bee, and then I forgot about it and ate the rest of my curry, my homemade curry.
Nothing good could come from that. I mean, it's like there's no like well, he swallowed a bee, but at least it only stung him in the esophagus.
Yeah.
There's no like.
Yeah, make an argument. Make an argument for any positivity about getting a bee in your throat.
Right, exactly.
I dare you, anyone, to do that.
Yeah,
you can't do it. It's not possible. But even people who love bees, do you really want one in your mouth?
No.
No. Sorry. No.
I keep my mouth closed at the apiary.
That's good. Oh, that is called an apiary, isn't it? I always think it's called
a.
Oh, what word do I always say?
Beeary.
A beeary. No, I call it a bee. I used to have I will say it wrong, and then Carter or somebody that's smart will correct me. If she's in the chat, she'll tell me what it is. I forget what it is. But I don't know what to call it. And she loves bees. She wants all bees to live and to breed and to not sting, but, go do their pollen business.
Sure.
Hornets, though, F Hornets. F those guys.
Yeah.
They're dicks.
Oh, Hornets and Yellow Jackets, they can just go eat a dick.
Yeah.
They suck.
Yeah, they do suck. Do you know what's good? So we got a little ecosystem going in the backyard. We want bees for pollination and also these plants and stuff Kim and Carter are growing in the backyard. They do bees are good for them. So we want bees, but we're having a hard time attracting bees. So the word is what you need to do is put a few little standing water things around. They'll attract some of the bees. So then the bees come in, and then the bees will also chase off and or kill the hornets and keep the hornets from coming in.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
That's what they tell me. I don't know. I am not an entomologist. I don't understand these things. I don't know what the F's going on. But bees.
Wow.
Catch them.
Okay. Oh, that'd be. You'll have to let us know. I mean, if you don't have a lot of hornets to deal with and you do have bees, then I guess that's a sign that it's working.
That the bees are doing their job.
The bees are doing their job. Keeping the hornets
bees are
away.
fine. They don't want to hurt you. If you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. It's hornets who are dicks and want to fly up your butthole and destroy your life.
Yeah, exactly. They just get in. They keep like hovering at you and stuff. It's like, I'm not what you want. I am not the thing that you're looking for.
Nope, I'm not the fleshy beast.
I may be wearing bright Hawaiian shirts, but I am not a flower. I promise you.
I didn't even think of that. Do you attract more when you wear those?
Yeah, I probably do. Yeah.
Do you?
I don't know. Do they look more colors, or do they look more like smell, or do they go more by smell?
I wonder what that is. I don't know. I thought so when I grew up, everybody said, "Well, yellow jackets are drawn to your bright colors." But I don't know if that's actually true. I just was told that. Could have been a wives' tale. Could have been, home brewed philosophy. I have no idea. But my mom would always say, "Oh, don't wear a yellow shirt if you're walking to school." Why, Mom? Well, those bees will come after you. That's what she say, and I believed her. Yeah. So to this moment, I really don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. Do yellow jackets like yellow jackets? Is that how it works? But yeah, I freaking hate bees. When was the last time you were stung by a bee? Could you tell me?
Oh, geez, it's been at least 5 years, maybe longer. I can't think of the last time I was stung by a bee. I got stung by a yellow jacket because the lawnmower was too loud.
Oh, geez.
It pissed off the yellow jackets in their hive, or the hornets in their hive, which I promptly destroyed. I said, "Oh, yeah? Okay."
Yeah. You showed them.
You want to play? Let's play.
Yeah, you showed them who the dominant species was that day, I'll tell you.
Exactly, yeah.
So for me, I can tell you exactly when it was. It was in June of 2002.
Okay.
And it dive bombed me as I was going out to feed the dog in the kennel outside, and they were living inside of the chain link kennel fence posts. So inside of them, they like that in there, I guess. And one of these hornets came out. The first sensation I felt was one of them dive bombed me and hit me in the head, but it didn't sting me. It just bounced off. So I was like, what the frick was that? I look up. I don't see anything. Back to my business. This one got me right in the freaking head. And I didn't do anything. I was just walking back there. I didn't even jiggle the fence.
Minding your own business.
Yeah, it's my fence. You little pieces of shart. I freaking hate him.
So I love the fact that you remember it was June 2002.
I don't remember the day, but I always remember June of 2002. My puke thing was
arbitrary streak measurements is something I absolutely love about you, and I hope you never change.
Well, as long as I don't break these records. So the puke one, July
It
of...
doesn't matter if you break these records.
No, it doesn't
right?
actually matter.
What
It
is going to
doesn't.
happen if you puke tomorrow?
It won't matter.
There...
Well, then I have to tell everybody because I've set up these expectations now, not just on the air, but I mean, like,
Really,
you know.
really, the expectations. I think the expectations you've set up are not as much with us as they are with you. We're all not going to be like, oh, everybody wear a ribbon on your shirt.
Yep. It's
For
going to be...
Johnson threw up on Friday.
Everybody wants it to be a massive event. I don't want it to happen at all. But July 3 years later, 2005. That was my date.
The
And
black armbands have come out because Johnson puked on a weekend.
I hope it's after I eat a black and white cookie. Here's what I'll do. This is what I'll do.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. You remember? You've seen that Seinfeld
Is
episode.
that a Seinfeld? Okay,
Yeah,
I remember the Seinfeld. Yeah, where he buys the black and white.
He buys the black and
it's the one
white
where he
'cause-
chases the lady down for the marble rye, isn't it?
No, that's the one where they're in the bakery forever trying to get a babka, a cinnamon babka.
That's right. It was a cinnamon babka. It wasn't the. I was thinking it was when he's going there for the marble rye, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, and he goes, I haven't thrown up since 1987. Whatever day.
That's right.
And then he goes and does it, and then she asks how it was. He says as good as it gets, and then that was the end of that. But what was my point? My point is, I think that episode informed how I would view such things. I think I kind of glommed onto that and went,
maybe.
I'm going to make it a big deal then. Because I hadn't, before this, it was 98. Before that, I don't remember. I'm just not a puker. I don't barf.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'll let you guys know if it
know,
happens.
I'm all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, what a fun TMS Vegas game.
No!
We're live TMS.
No.
Can we get Scott to puke?
No.
Like, can we?
No.
What can the audience come up with via scent or description or?
You'd be hard pressed because part of the reason I haven't barfed in that long is I hate the experience of it so much that there've been times where I should have barfed and didn't.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you would have a hard time, I think. Now the only way you could really get me is if somebody cheated and put like Epicac in my drink or something.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think stuff like that would be off limits, right? Like, what's the castor oil or Epicac or?
Yeah, none of that.
Epicac,
You
whatever
do
it's
that and it's cheating. I think you can't do that.
called.
I wonder what would gross me out enough. I'm trying
Yogurt
to think.
soda,
Eh,
spoiled yogurt soda.
I mean, if I drank the whole thing, it would probably make me sick. But tasting it
Yeah,
wouldn't.
thickened liquid. You guys never want to put an ed at the end. It's just like, it's a description. It's not a verb.
Yeah.
It's an adjective. Thickened liquid.
It'd be easier if it was thick liquid but people always have to
or
put the
Thiquid
ed.
would be better. Just go
Thiquid.
ahead and just portmanteau that shit. Like just
Brian, he's drinking some Thiquid.
Thiquid.
Oh, that's so good. I'd love that. That's an amazing portmanteau. Anyway, what would you do?
Yeah,
What do you
so
think would get me there? I don't know.
would
No
get
idea.
you? All right.
You'd have to like kill a family of 12 in front of me or something.
Oh, geez.
I don't know what it would be. I'm just trying to think of something that would make me Ralph.
Something to make you throw up?
Yeah.
I think making you watch somebody eat a plate of wings
Yeah.
and then slowly lick all of their fingers.
Oof.
No, I wouldn't do it. Oh, that would gross you out, but it wouldn't.
It grossed me out. It wouldn't
it
make me
you
puke.
throw
No.
up.
No.
Yeah.
I'd have to. You know what might get me?
What's that?
Somebody eats a plate of wings, licks all their fingers, uses the same fingers to make themselves throw up the chicken wings, and then eats the chicken wings again. Then you might have me. They'd have to be
Yes, all
so
right.
gross. They'd have to be like.
volunteers. Who do we got?
But keep in mind, I've seen all the Jackass movies and the terrible stuff they do to
I
each other in
know,
there.
yeah,
It's not a problem. I can get over it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'd have
What
to be.
makes you, is there anything that makes you nauseous?
Oh yeah, getting up on that
high roller?
high roller would have made me nauseous. Yeah. Oh,
Okay. All right.
Yeah, heights get me.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to break this record before next Vegas meetup. That's what I'm gonna do.
just so this doesn't become a challenge, an
Yeah.
unplanned, because now even if I don't say it's an official game,
Yeah.
now it's kind of become an unofficial secret game.
Yeah,
isn't
and
it?
all I have to do is like the weekend before, I'll go, oh, you guys, sorry, I hurled. Really, tell us all about it. And I don't really want to give you details. I just know that I hurled and new record, new timestamp. Set the clock to 0.
Right, exactly. Reset back to 0 days. Yeah.
Well, anyway. All
right,
right.
okay.
Also, we
Anyway.
got a call out here from somebody. It's more aimed at me, unfortunately,
Yeah.
but whatever. We'll deal with it. Here's this.
Send and receive email.
This is Evan from Michigan. He says, a passionate fan who wants you to be happy and stop depriving yourself of happy things. That's how he signed this. So that gives you an idea where we're at.
Wow. Okay. Well,
He's
he's got a mission.
He says, hello, Steve and Barb. I feel like I'm taking
Barb.
Barb. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills anytime Stranger Things is mentioned. The fact that Scott hasn't watched Stranger Things is absolutely insane to me. Well, reminder, I did watch season 1. I'm just not caught up.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons, check. Well, a version of it. They couldn't use the actual D&D. Anyway.
Okay.
80s theme, check. I'll give you that. Sci-fi fantasy elements, absolutely. Check. Check of the cast of fantastically acted kids, check. Well, you got that weird Wolfhart Mongo, whatever his name is. What's his name?
Finn Wolfhard?
Finn Wolfhard, yeah. Wolfhart Mongo. He's kind of weird looking. Anyway.
Yeah.
These are all elements we know Scott loves, and pair that with the fact that it's an insanely popular show. I just don't understand why it is up for discussion. Brian, you are going far too easy on him, since so is the chat room. If he doesn't want to watch Parasite, whatever. If he doesn't want to watch Loki, whatever. That's one he can definitely read the synopsis of. But this one is so
it's
good.
Not, for sure. Yeah, my
He
God,
says it's so good and such an easy binge. And anyone who mentions just reading the synopsis should really have their nerd card question. Rant over, watch the damn show. Love, Evan.
Wow. Not just like do it, Scott, but now a line in the sand, like your nerd card could be revoked if you don't hurry up and watch.
Yeah,
Stranger
and he
Things.
through your Loki under the bus. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's not one that you can just read the synopsis. Thank you very much. That's
The corpse of Loki languishing under the bus now
exactly.
because of Evan. I don't know. I'm actually planning on watching it. It's not that I don't want to. I saw the first season. I liked it. You're right.
Yeah.
It kind of tickles all the beans. The problem I have is it's that thing I always tell you about, which is it's a Netflix original. What does that mean to me? It's there forever.
Right,
So I can just kind of
Disney Plus. Loki's going to be there forever. Hulu has Parasite. Never shows any signs of that leaving. So.
No, it seems permanent, and so that's the problem. Is I get this feeling of permanence makes me go, well, that'll be there. I'll go do something that's less permanent. So I know I do that.
A second thing too, and it's a very valid one for all of us, for both you and I think Randy as well, that we need stuff that we can talk about on recommendals, and if we watch something that one of us has already recommended that's been out for a while, we can't use that. Like if we binge a 16-hour show, 20-hour show for that somebody else has talked about, that leaves us with no time to watch something else that we can talk about on recommendals.
Yeah,
so.
which is kind of what I ran into this time, because I did watch some stuff with Kim, but it was a recommendal you made, and I forgot the name of the show. But like that's why I did the Wallace
Tell
and
me it was
Gromit
After
thing.
Party. If it was an After Party, I'm hanging up right now.
I don't remember.
It was an After Party. You'd remember if you watched After Party.
No, it wasn't that. It was something
After
else.
Party was one of those shows that really slipped under the radar, but then as soon as the Emmy nominations came out, everyone's like, oh, After Party got snubbed. After Party should have been on there. Why isn't After Party on the list?
Well, mainly because these reward shows are bullshit, but whatever. I mean, they are what they are. I also, by the way, so there's another example. Someone brought up The Boys in the chat. I'm a huge fan of The Boys. I know it's not for everyone, but I love it. And I am 2 episodes into the new season, but I'm just ridiculously behind. 1883, another thing that sings my name.
Because you like Yellowstone.
I love Yellowstone, and this thing's set in the 1800s. Sam freaking Elliott is in it, going, he's in it. And so there's that whole thing going, and why hasn't Scott eaten that? Partly because I know Paramount Plus has it or Peacock, whoever has it in perpetuity. It's theirs. It's their original. Just be there.
They need to tease like, oh, we're not sure we're going to keep Parasite. So if you haven't watched Parasite, we don't know if we're going to have it forever.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe
they need to.
Yeah, I don't know. I may get some artificial scarcity. You know what? I actually realize what I'm asking for, and I don't want it because Disney famous for the vault. What a horseshit concept that was. So it's like, hurry up and get the Little Mermaid before it goes back in the vault. What vault?
Exactly.
There's no vault.
Exactly.
So yeah,
There's a vault. There is a vault.
Yeah. Is there a vault?
100%. Tina saw the vault. So in Stone Mountain in Georgia. No, where was it? It was when she was doing her investigator job and they were training her. She had to go to Pennsylvania, and basically they had training inside this vault where she actually had to go into a mountain, kind of like NORAD, right? Where it was like
Cool.
you couldn't drive in there. You had to get onto a bus, and the bus would take you under this mountain to this training facility where the investigators were. And she saw the Disney Vault, which is also there, an actual Disney Vault where they can temperature control all of the original films and all that stuff, all the original stuff. It is Iron Mountain. Okay, I was trying to think if it was Iron Mountain.
But when they were doing it with DVDs, it's digital. Yeah. You're done. There's nothing to protect. You just have.
I mean, it's right. It's not like we can only produce 120,000 copies of Lady and the Tramp, and then we have to stop.
Right. They can't have enough ladies in the Tramps out there.
Yeah.
In circulation.
But Song of the South, never coming out of that vault, probably. Sadly.
I assume it's in the vault, though, right?
It's in the vault. For sure, it's in the vault.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't realize there was an actual vault. I thought it was all bullshit.
There is an actual Disney vault.
Shows what I know. Okay. Well, the answer to and TV's Travis says it best. These things, to my point about it, it's always going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's right. But I'm not always going to be here. So maybe I should think of it that way and panic watch everything.
Right. Know? What do you need to see before you die?
How much that Riverdale is there now? Should I just watch all the Riverdale until I'm bleeding?
It's feeling like a George Carlin rant. What do you need to see before you die?
Your George Carlin's a little,
Nicholson
a little more Jack Nicholson.
It was a little Jack Nicholson. I have not been working on my George Carlin at all, ever.
That was awesome. Here's Johnny. All right, we're gonna transition to.
Well, I guess I need to watch Loki.
That's right. It's pretty good. We're gonna call Amy.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I've been reading, but it's been comic books. I feel like I don't have much to bring to the table today, but.
I don't know why we couldn't recommend comic books as a reading material.
I mean, we sure could. I guess I've already done it,
right there
though.
in the name.
I guess I already did it with that 8 Billion Genies. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I'm only three issues in, and I just freaking love 8 Billion Genies. Can't recommend it enough. All right, anyway, Here's this, everybody. Right freaking here. Look who it is, everybody, sauntering up the path in our idyllic idea of what it looks like when Amy joins us. It's Amy Robinson. A.K.A. Red Fraggle. Hi, Amy. Welcome to Read This with Amy. How are you?
Hi, good morning. Yes, I do a little dance in my chair every time that my little theme comes on.
It's the music. Yeah,
it's nice.
I see you skipping down a pathway that's lined with flowers, and you're carrying a basket that's full of books. That's what I visualize.
It's like one of those old, like those documentaries I always capture for the show. It's like, Amy is on her way to school. What will she find on the way? That kind of thing. Well, anyway, It's good to have you here, of course. As always, we're going to talk about some book recommendations. You also sent me this little Twitter link. Did you want to do that first?
Yes. Okay. So, you can play the Twitter I sent you. Just be aware that the sound is awful, and I'll explain why after. But this is more for the chat room, I think, than it is for the people listening. But I'll explain it for the people listening.
Fair enough.
Go on ahead.
For those at home, we're looking at the preview image before I hit play. Is Amy? This is your natural hair, right? This this stuff here.
That is my red Fraggle hat that I crocheted.
It's pretty good. But anyway, I'm going to play it for the chat. Here you go. Let's see what we get. Well, you're right about that audio.
Yeah, there were people vacuuming in the background.
So wait a minute. Is this the Fraggle song, but like heavy metal or something? What is it?
It is, yes. So a number of tadpoolers have sent me this link and been like, "Oh my God, Amy, have you seen this?" And so I think Icor sent it to me first on Discord, and I was just dying. I was loving it. And KT Data said, "Okay, now I need a video of Red Fraggle headbanging." And so I said, "Well, all right, here you go.
Yeah.
Ask and ye shall receive. And that's part of why the audio is bad, is because at that moment there were people vacuuming my house. And so I was like, okay, but I have to give it to you like right now.
Oh man, you have people for that? You have
that
people?
hat is great, by the way.
Yeah, the hat is awesome.
Thank you.
Tell me more
Also,
about these.
Firehouse Subs. This video is sponsored by Firehouse Subs, apparently.
I know, I noticed that. It was like I had ordered lunch for, everybody in my house from them, and they gave me this big humongous paper bag, and so I keep those big empty paper bags in my office for stuff like recycling, stuff I have to shred and things like that. So
When you say they're people vacuuming, who are these people? Who'd you have?
Oh, well, no, Chuck was not vacuuming. So I have a lady who comes in like every 3 weeks or so and just helps me out with like basic cleaning stuff. Just because the last time I tried to scrub my shower clean, I literally fell on my butt and I was scared to death that I had injured my back somehow. And so I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Well, plus you
I
got
am
that.
hiring a service.
You told us about that thing where you got the what's it called? The sleep thing. You fall asleep easy.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good idea.
Narcolepsy.
That's a good idea. I would love a cleaning person, and here's why.
Yeah.
Because then Kim would stop telling me how little I clean. You know what I mean? But I'd want her to be able to come in and do it while Kim's not paying attention. And then she'd come home and go, oh my gosh, Scott, what'd you do? Oh, well, just trying to do my part around here. Anyway, see you later. And that'd be it. That'd be great. Anyway, my fantasies aside, let's get to this book today. Oh, for a second I thought that was Brian's chair. I'm looking at the wrong link. Sorry. Did you get your chair, Brian? Did you order that thing? I'm just curious.
No, not yet. I've been trying to decide which one I want, and I'm not. There's good chairs, bad chairs. I'm looking at reviews. I'm not. Not 100%.
Expensive chairs, cheap chairs.
A lot of expensive chairs.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's all over the map. I feel you. I do not like chair shopping. It's like the freaking
and
worst.
part of me is like, oh, why not just spend the money, Brian, and get a good one for $400 or $500?
Yeah.
There's a Secret Lab, highly recommended. Secret Lab looks like they make some amazing chairs. Reviews, 5-star reviews across the board. But
$500.
spending $500 on a chair right now is I need to drive a lot of Lyft to do that.
I need that chair to give me a bidet wash as I get up. You know what I mean?
Just constantly be cradling me.
Yeah, you better be massaging me and doing all sorts of things for 500 bones. Yeah. Well, anyway, Amy, let's get to this book. Do you want me to play the clip, or do you have any setup for it or anything, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's just jump right into the clip because it's super fun.
All right, here we go.
The last version was almost there. Doc said she definitely saw evidence of a tumescent cloaca. I laughed. What's got you chuckling? Satie said. I was just thinking that Edward's tumescent cloaca would have been an excellent band name. Emo, obviously, Kahurangi said. Their first album glistened with promise, but their follow-up was a little flaccid. Their third album was really shitty. To be fair, the competition was stiff that year. I just thought that they should have showed more spunk. I was going to add more to this terrible, disgraceful conversation. But then we crested a hill, and I got my first look at Edward. Holy shit, I said. Satie grinned. Cute like a panda, right? Kahurangi made a noise at this. Mate, if you think that's cute, you've been on this planet too long. Seconded, I said. The thing looks like H.P. Lovecraft's Panic Attack. Satie nodded. Wait till you see his cloaca.
Well, that's Will Wheaton, isn't it?
That's definitely Will Wheaton.
Yeah. That is Will Wheaton.
Will
yes.
Wheaton. Yeah.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton. The name of this book is The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. And I apologize, I don't remember who actually recommended this book to me because I had put a call out there. I was like, okay, y'all, I really want to get into reading Scalzi's books, but I'm intimidated and I don't know quite where to start. And a number of people said, go for this one. It's really fun and it's easy. And they were correct. And it's really fun and hilarious. And I see some of the people in the chat were like, it might be distracting listening to an audiobook that was narrated by Will Wheaton. And I had the same thought. So I started just reading the book on my Kindle. And then I was like, okay, I need to move this along a little quicker so I can get through this book. And so I listened to the audiobook. And it's great because his delivery is as much fun as the text of the book. So, and it's a really, really fun book. I explained it to my mom this morning as, those people who go out into nature reserves and things like that, and they work with endangered animals, and they try and, make sure that they breed and they keep them.
Rehabilitate.
Exactly. Yeah. Stuff like that. So imagine that, but like for Godzilla's.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So,
Love it. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is really, really fun. And the great thing about this book is that I actually recommend read everything after the text of the book, like all of Scalzi's acknowledgments and all that stuff, because he puts an afterword on the book and he says, okay, look, I was in the middle of writing like super heavy, serious sci-fi novel in 2020.
Yeah.
And then 2020 happened. Yeah. And I hated the book I was writing and I did not want to make it anymore. And so instead he wrote this book and he said, it's a pop song. And every once in a while we just need a pop song.
Huh.
And it is, it's good. It's a great, fun little book. It's not unintelligent or anything. It's very John Scalzi. It's very sci-fi. It kind of explains how the kaiju exist and, all of that. And it's got lots of good techno babble, like sci-fi. And it's just it's a fun popcorn book, I guess. If they made a movie of it, it would be a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
So
he's good
there
at that.
You go.
His old. Yeah. I was just thinking about this dude because Scalzi wrote Old Man's War and then a bunch of follow-up novels to it.
Okay.
And I loved that book. Just absolutely loved it. I only read the first two, and I probably should have continued, but and maybe still will. But I heard they were optioning it for a movie or TV or a series or something, and I don't know what happened to that. I was really looking forward to it. I don't know, maybe it's still in the works, but if you haven't read Scalzi's work, you're missing out. That guy's great.
He's got another book called The Android's Dream, and it's got sheep on the cover. And I'm thinking, dude, come on now. Quit trying to make people accidentally buy your book when they're looking for Blade Runner.
Yeah, that's right. Blade Runner, back in 2017, he was trying to capitalize on everybody's interest in Blade Runner.
Right, exactly.
No, this sounds great. I didn't realize... you know what? I'd seen this book title before. Didn't know it was John Scalzi. That surprises me. I don't know why, but I didn't know that. And this is new, right?
Yep.
Ish.
Yes, it is new. He wrote it in 2021. So
that's right.
It takes place during that time. Like there are references to the pandemic and everything in there. Wow. So yeah, it's great, and it's like I say, it's a lot of fun. It's a quick read. I totally recommend it. So thank you to all of you who recommended that I read that. I took it under advisement and now I'm recommending it to all of you.
There you go. And if you really enjoy it, keep moving through his books because he's a good author. And
I'm glad actually to be reading his stuff now because I have followed him on Twitter for a long time, and I've actually met him, which the photo I sent you, in addition to the little Twitter and all the other stuff I sent you a photo.
Let's see.
So I have met John Scalzi because he goes on the Joko cruise that I go on every year.
Oh, cool.
That's right. Here it is. I found it. There's John Scalzi and a puppet hanging out.
That's my puppet. Yep. I built that puppet. I am there just out of frame, like a good puppeteer should be. Yeah. But yeah, that was at the dress party on the Joko cruise. So you can't really tell there, but John Scalzi is in fact wearing a dress. And so my puppet and I were sort of busking around the party and I don't know, kind of doing a Joan Rivers-y kind of thing,
like a red carpet
commenting on
thing.
Everybody's dresses and whatnot, and yeah, it was
cool. That's cool.
Super fun.
That's awesome. All right, well, definitely check this one out. Once again, the title of that book is, remind me, where is it? Oh, I had it right here and I lost it.
It is The Kaiju Preservation Society.
There you go. Available now on Kindle, audiobook, hardbook. What do you call it? Hardbook. What are they called? Hardback. You can get it in hard book form. All right, Amy, always good to talk to you. I hope you have a fantastic week. And we'll see you later.
Bye now.
See me.
There she goes. I should play her music out.
The last version.
Whoops, that was the audiobook. Sorry. All right. Well done, everybody. Let's see. Oh, we got time for news. Let's do a little bit of news right now. It's time for the news, brought to you by
Coverville today, celebrating the birthday of Don Henley. That dude is taking a break from building the perfect beast to celebrate the boys of summer. And there's a new kid in town. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, Don Henley, solo artist, responsible for songs like Dirty Laundry, All She Wants to Do Is Dance, Leather and Lace with Stevie Nicks. But also, he was a member of this band way back called The Eagles.
Oh.
I don't know if you've heard of them. But so, of course, songs like Hotel California, Life in the Fast Lane. I tried to pick Eagles songs that were Don Henley fronted as opposed to, things like I Can't Tell You Why and I'm trying to think of another one that I bypassed because it wasn't fronted by Don Henley. Anyway, so you're going to hear covers today by folks like India R.E., and Ingrid Kiosovic, and the Hot Stewards, and the Smoking Popes. And, of course, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, who we just talked about. All this and more coming up today, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, twitch.tv/Coverville.
Nice. Did Henley, I know he had, there was some controversy some years back. I suppose he's probably fine now. I don't know. Let's see.
Oh.
Yeah, here, I've just found it.
Some controversy about what his
lifestyle. Oh, here it is.
Really? Okay.
It was in 2020 I read this and I just found it. It says back in 1980, 911 call from Henley brought the fire department to his Los Angeles home. They found a naked 16-year-old sex worker who had overdosed on cocaine.
Oh, gosh.
He has a tragic history with Stevie Nicks, Jamie McCarthy, Getty Images. Oh, that's a photo. His coke orgies, something to do with that, and Quaalude overdoses and all that. So apparently he had a moment there.
I mean, who didn't?
I mean, it was 1980.
You know?
We were all there, man. We had it going on.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
right. He was dating Stevie Nicks when she broke up with Lindsey Buckingham.
Ah, there's your problem.
And
I just remember him in the car going. I just remember him in the car going, "The boys of summer have gone," like driving around singing. I remember that video like it was yesterday.
Yeah, and how every cover artist changes the sticker, the bumper sticker on the Cadillac, to something else. Like, what is it? It's Black Flag sticker by if the Ataris are singing, it's the Black Flag sticker on a Cadillac, and
oh right.
There's other ones. If you want to find out who the Hot Stewards, if they change the lyric, you'll just have to listen to Coverville today, 1 p.m. Mountain Time.
It's weird. I did a search for John Scalzi, and I thought it was a one-off because every time I clicked on Scalzi's Wikipedia page, it would crash my browser. So I thought, oh, well, that's just Scalzi, or there's something wrong with his link. I do it again with Henley, same thing. So I wonder, like, if I go to just Wikipedia by itself... Hold on. Wikipedia.com. Yeah, seems fine. I don't know what that's about. Something with the Google search results is crashing my browser every time I click the Wikipedia link. Yeah, it's fine.
All right, well, don't do that.
I'm not going to do that anymore. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to avoid doing that now. All right. Well, we go from a 75-year-old Don Henley to a strip club owner. A man made off at $22K in $1 bills at the strip club.
Jeez.
$22,000.
How big a container would you need for $22,000 in $1 bills?
No kidding, because that's literally 22,000 strips of paper, the size of dollar bills.
Yeah.
That's got to be.
Is there a photo? Oh, I guess not, because they don't know who this guy is.
No,
right?
They still can't find him. He
smells like vanilla and glitter. Just follow the trail of glitter on the ground.
Maybe he's got the world's largest G-string and it's all jammed in there. I don't know. Anyway, the Cadillac Lounge, this manager, Ed Imondi, tells 12 News he was preparing to open the strip club and was counting the money in his office when the suspect walked in, pointed a gun at his head. He says, at first thought, I thought it was a joke. And then he said, this is a robbery. I said, what? And he says, I'm going to rob this place. Modi said he had one of the club's two safes open with roughly $3,500 in cash in hand at the time, which the suspect took that. The men then demanded he open the other safe, which contained the $22,000 in $1 bills. He took all the ones. I could hear him stacking them into a big bag he had. Obviously, he knew he had a lot of money in there. He loaded up the bag and said, "That's it. Don't turn around. I'm leaving," says the guy. The man then left the club through the back door, hopping a fence and ran across nearby train tracks. The suspect knew the layout of the building, which is how he knew where to get him and get the money. They don't know where he is.
Wow.
He's out there. So
1,000 stack of $1,000 bills would be 4.3 inches. So 22 times 4.3 would be 88 and change, 88 inches.
88 inches,
So close to
so it'd be like
7 feet. But that's if you just have one stack of them. So if you split that in half, you've got 3.5 feet.
Yeah, he must have had a hell of a bag.
Probably just a big hefty cinch sack would do it.
You think that would do it?
I think so. I think you could put 22,000 in a hefty cinch sack. I'm guessing that that the limitation maybe was the bag and not how much money was at the strip club, right? Like he was his cap was his bag of holding and not what was available.
I would have to think
not
that.
the loot.
Yeah, this guy claims there was only $22K in that one safe, but that seems.
Oh, okay. So really,
I mean, he's claiming that. Who knows? I don't know. Right? Yeah. If I were him, I wouldn't even be talking to the news. Why do you want to tell everybody what you got in your safes now that this guy so easily walked away with 22 grand? I think I'd keep it more quiet if I were him.
Yeah. By the way, you didn't even get to the co-owner of the club is a guy named Dick Shappy.
Yeah.
Or if you move that space just one to the right, it's Dick's Happy.
Dick's Happy. It's probably what it is, and he did it just to.
Probably what it is. Yeah. Exactly.
Just to function in society. All right. Well, there's that. Here's a story about hey, we're saving animals, everybody.
Good. Thank goodness.
Where's my daughter? She'll love that this giant sea bug got saved. A super rare orange lobster named Cheddar was saved from becoming seafood. These are really, really rare. Bright orange lobster was rescued from its fate as a meal at a Red Lobster after staff members recognized the crustacean's unusual coloring. The lobster was named Cheddar in an ode to the restaurant's famous Cheddar Bay biscuits, also because it was orange. Cheddar arrived in the shipment of Red Lobster to Red Lobster in the shipment in Hollywood, Florida, according to the July 12th news release. It says, sometimes ordinary miracles happen, and Cheddar is one of them, says Mario Roque.
Wow. That is an ordinary miracle.
Yeah, just an ordinary, everyday miracle.
Truer words have never been spoken. A lobster was saved from a Red Lobster the other day.
Yep. He says in the same press release, a group of incredible people helped us make this possible. We are so honored to have been able to help save Cheddar and find her a good home. F all these other lobsters. We're eating those tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
But this one, because it's colored funny, well done, everyone.
I bet he was delicious.
Yep. Let's see.
Would have been delicious, I should say. Yeah.
So I guess this thing is like super rare. There's a few like this, like the albino one's really rare, and there's like
the blue one.
Blue one. Oh yeah, the blue one's so weird.
They mentioned blue one's not as rare as the orange. So
yeah, and I always thought they were all orange, but that's after you cook them, right? And it's more red than orange anyway. Like a hot.
Yeah, I mean they kind of all turn red once you've cooked them.
When Kim went to Mississippi on a recent trip, they all went crabbing. They call it.
Sure.
And they all got out there in the bog, and they're up to their knees, pulled their pants up to their knees and went crabbing, and they caught a bunch of crab, and they all looked just gross, like these disgusting
like
crabs.
Brown, green,
horrible. And then they cooked them, beautiful, red looking, just beautiful coloring. So that's, just know that, but when you go to a restaurant, it's all lovely and red. They don't come that way.
That's not how they start out.
Nope. And crawdad, same thing. They look great.
There's a lot of food that looks worse before you cook it.
Yeah, I guess this isn't breaking any records here. That's true of almost everything you cook, I guess. Nobody wants ground beef until it's cooked, right?
Right. Yeah. It's a bright red color. You don't want to eat that. It's red is danger.
Ooh, here's a hot take that'll get some emails. Anyone who eats raw hamburger or likes a rare burger, you're effed. Don't be doing that around me. You want to make me puke in Vegas? Eat a raw bloody burger. Oh my gosh.
Well, okay, raw or rare? Because I mean, I like my steaks rare.
I do too. I like a rare steak. I like a lot of blood in there. But the reason it works with a steak is you're searing the outside, and it was always in that form, right? So you got like the slab of meat. It was never mixed up, charred up, gooped up. and then put back together into a ball and then mushed down on the thing. So it's not the same char. You still have meat inside of there that needs to be cooked, or else you're risking freaking salmonella or something.
I mean, it's you need to just get the whole thing up to temperature. It's not necessarily there's a char on the outside. It's the fact that you got the whole thing. You could sous vide it, keep the whole thing red, and not have a sear on the outside, but bring the whole thing up to temperature.
That's true. Is that all it takes then to kill any bacteria or whatever?
Yeah, just have to get up to a foodborne or whatever, like something temperature, not foodborne, airborne. No, what is it? There's a word that I'm trying to come up with that is
foodborne. Foodborne?
Not foodborne. Foodborne allergies is probably where I'm getting that, but foodborne
illnesses.
Anyway, killing. I just need to get up to the temperature, and you could do the same thing with ground beef. If you want to sous vide ground beef up to the temperature that will kill any bacteria, any harmful, E. coli or salmonella, not E. coli, salmonella.
Yeah.
It'd probably still be red, and it'd probably be delicious, but it would not look the dark brown that you want your hamburger to look.
Well, you make good points. You make good points. Check my did Claire Gack send me a meat DM? Hold on.
I bet she did. She sent you it's Morrissey singing "Meat is murder." Yeah.
Oh, I found it. She got this while she was in New York. Here, Brian, I'll put it in our Discord.
All right.
It's horrifying. I could never eat this.
Was it steak tartare or like a?
No, it's just a burger.
Yeah,
it's
look at
burger.
that. Oh, yum.
Gross. It's all in the bun and stuff. Oh my gosh.
It is the bun. The bottom bun is just soaked with blood juices.
Did you get this at Sam and Ella's burger joint? Is that where they got it? That's foul. That's foul. Don't like it.
Now it's like, where am I going for lunch and dinner when I'm in Vegas? I gotta take advantage of. I can't just go to
go nuts, dude.
Court.
Because if you end up getting the freaking COVID while you're there, you may as well eat like crazy. Just
make
eat.
it worth it.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Put on a couple of pounds that you're going to lose for a week of COVID. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm gaining my pre-COVID weight.
Yeah, I say go for it.
Yeah,
all
not
right.
going to the heart attack grill. I'll say that though. That's a negatory. I don't even think I'm going to be going downtown. Although I need to hit up Mitsula and James and Svet, and
They'll probably meet you wherever.
I think so. Yeah.
They're easy. They'll go up to the newer part of the strip.
Yes.
Let's do the story. So I guess there's a global lost luggage crisis.
Yes, there is. Oh my God, I hope they're going to talk about the plane from the UK.
Oh, is there a story I don't know about?
I don't see it mentioned in here.
I don't think
there
it's in
apparently
here.
was a luggage plane from the UK that went to Detroit or something. I gotta look this up.
Where was it supposed to go?
All the details wrong. It was all lost luggage. Where's the news
the
story?
plane was entirely full of
the plane did not contain any. There it is. A Delta flight from London to Detroit contained no passengers but 1,000 bags.
How did this domino thing happen?
Like, how do these bags
I don't get it. I don't even know how it got here, but here's what this article says. When Jen Choi packed her and her family's bags, she feared the worst, hearing horror stories about checked airline luggage going permanently missing. She bought tracking devices for her suitcases to ensure it would not have to rely on critically understaffed aviation industry right now, which could cause its worst meltdown in history. So talking about staff shortages, they are having a rough one. Lo and behold, all 3 bags contain the possessions and blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Let's see. Her husband and their 1-year-old child remained almost 6,200 miles away in Germany when they arrived in Cancun, Mexico. Our bags are still not been found, and we will be without them for at least a week. I feel like it's part of the traveling these days is becoming so common. Many people here in Mexico are on vacation without their bags. It's a mess, and I've never seen anything like it. And then it goes on to talk about the stories of, thousands of pieces of luggage. Obviously, this flight you're talking about to Detroit was to try to solve some of that. But that's bad. Also, I don't understand. Like, I know if you're short-staffed, I get delays, right? Delays make sense to me. But why would we have this nightmare lost luggage problem?
Because so much of that is automated, right? Like, the the bags have the little tags and stuff that have the sensors on them, or I guess somebody has to put them on the right belt. Is that the deal?
Yeah.
So there still has to be human involvement before it. Man,
And if there
I
aren't
knew
enough
that there
of
was
those
a whole
guys.
bunch of technology with the DIA baggage system, which is what delayed the development of that airport for such a long time.
Yeah.
But I think somebody still has to be involved to move bags around.
Interesting. It says that across the world, the mishandling of bags is on the rise, 24% over year from last year. Let's see, 8.7 suitcases per 1,000 international travelers not arriving. So that may seem like not much, but that's a big percentage jump, and you don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I'm not checking my bag. I mean, listen, folks, it's probably worth picking up a Apple AirTag and putting it in your bag so that, maybe you can see where it's at, where it's going.
Yeah, I might do that actually when we go to our
I've
trip
got one
later
in
this year.
in my suitcase.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I would hate
Then
that
you
though,
actually
because then you might know where it is, but you're still going to be like, "Oh my gosh, it's in Indonesia, and I'm in Idaho." Like,
yeah, but but at least you'll know that it's in Indonesia.
I guess so. But then, how do you do anything about it? Can you
you could probably do more about it if you say, "Hey, I wanted to get my bag from baggage claim, but it's showing up in Indonesia. Can you do something about that?"
Yeah.
And then it's not like, "We've lost your bag. We don't know where it is." You can say, "Oh, here it is, right here. I can show you on my phone exactly where it is."
Yeah. And once again, someone in the chat mentioned it. I was going to mention it as well. American Airlines posted their Q2 profits. They are record high. Mayor Watt put this in here. They've never had a better quarter. Something's effed, man. Y'all need to
Really,
pay
because are
living
those
wages.
record high profits? Is that going to the right people? I don't think it is.
I think maybe pay people a living wage.
Right.
We're effed.
Yeah,
we're
we're
effed.
totally effed.
Here's one.
Okay.
No, we're done. We're gonna wait because it's Wendy time.
Here's not one.
Here's not one. Here's this instead. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, Wendy will be here, but we can't do any of that until there's a song played. So Brian, let's do that part of the show.
I will do that. This is a brand new song from the band Sister Gemini. I'm pulling up my notes here because I was too slow. Usually I do this during the last news story, and I completely screwed up. She's an LA indie pop artist, Sister Gemini. She's not a band. She's a person, and her name is Anakin. No, it's not. It's Gasman. But probably I'd change my name. Remy Gasman. I would change it to Anakin Skywalker. She creates pop-infused bedroom beats, as she describes them. Big thanks to Dark Secret Media for getting me this one. This is her brand new song. It's called Scooter Song. Here is Sister Gemini.
Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, it's time to play Future Sport.
Then you're gonna have to pay for your own bananas.
The Morning Stream. Garblurg.
All right, we're back. Tell me again who that was, please.
Sure, that is Sister Gemini and a brand new song called Scooter Song.
Nice. Bedroom melodies. I like
Bedroom pop. Bedroom indie pop.
I don't even know what that means. What does it mean, bedroom?
I don't either.
Like made it in your bedroom, or it's good
I think
for...
so, right? Like
Okay.
it's not a full lush arrangement. It's like her on a ukulele or something, and
Okay. You know what?
Pajamas.
I'm gonna
in a nightie.
So pandemic music creation. I get it.
Right, exactly. Yes. Doing
Hello.
that, we have to do it.
Hello, Wendy. How are you?
Hi.
Oh, hi. Oh, I forgot to play this.
Everyone knows it's Wendy.
Look who it is. It's my sister Wendy, all the way from Minnesota, where I guess it's been really hot and humid, right? Like everywhere. Not so much?
Maybe I'm just used to it. It just feels good.
Oh.
I mean, it's been hot,
Yeah.
but it's hot everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hot everywhere.
It is.
It's 100 here today, but there's no humidity, so it's kind of, I just feel like I'm baking out there.
You're just like on the sear.
I'm
setting.
searing.
What
Yeah, I'm
is
searing the outside.
The broil setting. That's
Yeah.
it. Where you-
I like medium rare when it comes to my body. You know
Right.
what I mean? Well, Wendy knows what it's like to be white, not tan very well, but that's not what we're talking
Right.
about today. We're going to talk about other stuff. My sister Wendy is here. Don't call her my Wendy. That'd be weird. She comes on Thursdays. We do some help for folks out there because she's an actual therapist, unlike Brian and I. We're licensed for nothing.
We play therapists on television, but we're not actual
Yeah,
therapists.
that is correct. I wear the white coat. That's about it. I actually kind of want one of those, but anyway, that's a different story for a different time.
Sure.
Let's get to it. Wendy poked me and said, hey, what do you think about coming up with something around the concept of defense mechanisms? And had something happen.
Because everyone's defensive.
Yeah,
everyone's
everyone's very defensive right now. And even this morning, I went walking the dog with Kim early around the lake, and it's all houses now. That lake is full of like $3 million houses. Because rich people seem to be doing fine. Anyway, I'm walking around there, and everyone that we pass, I am automatically in this weird mode of, it used to be, we're always very friendly. It's like, oh, good morning to whoever it is, stranger, it doesn't matter. And they're almost always in the past, oh, good morning, nice to see you, or whatever. But it feels like in the last couple of years, people are a little more like, me. They don't want to say good morning. They just kind of want to keep their head down and keep moving. And so we still do it. We make sure we're saying good morning, but now there's this feeling in the back of my head is that guy's not going to say good morning back.
Right. Yeah. Like I'll say hi to people I pass on the bike path if I ride by them, no matter walking, whatever. Say, hey, on your left, and they go over. I say, thank you, have a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. They just don't want to talk.
Like, you too.
Yeah.
Just
what's so hard about that? Be a freaking human being. Anyway. So that's not what we're going to talk about, though. We're going to talk instead about this thing that I shared with Wendy.
Like defense mechanisms. That just seems like a rant.
Yeah, that's just me ranting.
Yeah, which is one of the many defense mechanisms.
So I will now expose myself.
Well,
as
let me do this before you tell the story, which I think will be great. I
Yeah.
just want to define it, so we all are
go
on the
ahead.
same page.
Go ahead.
Okay, so psychoanal analysis, Freud, this is where this term comes from. This is kind of the origin from psychoanalytic theory. Okay. So it's basically the perspective that personality is made up, of id, ego, superego. Okay.
Right.
And we have the unconscious. Maybe everyone's familiar with all the things I'm saying. Okay. So the idea of a defense mechanism is that our unconscious or subconscious picks up on things that might lead to emotional harm. And then in order to protect us from that harm, it presents a defense mechanism. So it's a protective response to perceived harm. But that harm is picked up, very subtly. It doesn't have to be really obvious, right? So for example, walking by your neighbors and saying hello, neighbors used to not feel like a threat, but now that your neighbor could actually secretly think it's some crazy thing and hate you or whatever, right? Like we now have these ideas because we've learned how people think on the internet that people around you may not be so safe anymore. And so there's a perceived, really sort of unconscious threat that maybe wasn't there before because we're tribal, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a stranger walking into your tribe and you don't know if they're a threat or not, but they don't look like you, talk like you, sound like you, eat the same food as you, whatever. They're so different, they are potentially a threat. We've moved from those aren't the boundaries those are still boundaries, but your tribe could look like you and eat the same food as you and live in your neighborhood and not actually be in your tribe.
Still not be in your tribe, yeah.
Yeah, so it really is this sort of unconscious thing getting kicked in. Okay, so we'll go through what all the types are after you tell the story.
Okay, so
I just want to get everyone on the same page.
Okay, so this is brief. The other day on Twitter, so I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who's a policeman, a cop here in town, works for the Salt Lake PD, and he's a uniformed cop and does I forget what his beat is, but it's somewhere downtown, part of town where there's some crime on the weekends and stuff like that. And he is always telling me how he's trying harder than ever. I mean, his dream is to be a cop when he was a kid. And he's trying harder than ever to be the best possible person in that job and make a real difference. He wants to make a difference in communities. He wants to help kids. He's always volunteering for the stuff they ask cops for volunteering for, helping people do fundraisers, all that sort of stuff. So he's always trying to do that stuff. And he's actively trying to be a force for good and change within the department because no department is perfect, certainly not in law enforcement these days. And, I got annoyed and kind of defensive of him because other people around him were just lumping him into this group of all cops are bad. And so what I did is I got online and I farted out my my hot take of, I think, once again, you're just blanketing a thing without actually knowing anybody who does it. And so if you know people involved, it's much more complex. There's more nuance to this than just all cops suck. And boy, howdy, did I get reamed by the Twitter mob for this. Like, I got yelled at, and I maybe even more defensive, at least at first, about people saying, they were using simple examples of, like, here's the problem. If you got 4 policemen and one of them does something awful on the job and 3 of the other policemen witness it and they don't do anything about it, they're all bad cops. And I understand that take. I do. I get it.
Yeah.
And they help me understand that more by listening to some of the people online, giving me their reasoning or whatever. Some people are just outright just freaking out.
The ones that explain their reasoning, calmly and intelligently. Yes.
Yeah, that happens once in a while. But there were a few that were just like, whatever. There are always going to be those few. But anyway, my point with all this is, I still to this moment, I realize this might be coming from a position of naivete. But I just always hate this idea of everyone gets lumped into, blanketing an entire group of what turns out to be actual people. Like, these are people. They're not robots. They're not whatever. You can say the system's broken. You can say the management's busted. You can say that there's systematic issues across the board. And there 100% is. But I also think it's fair to say there are some people, maybe it's a lot less than I think, but there's some people in that world trying to do good work. And I got really defensive about it because I know this guy and I know where his heart is. So to say that, basically to me, it felt like they were saying, well, your friend's as bad as any cop because the whole thing's broken. The whole toilet needs to be flushed, basically, is what people say.
Right.
Now,
you could say that about America.
You could say that about a lot of things. Yeah. There's a lot of things you could say about a lot of things. That's my point, actually, is that it's so complex and nuanced. It's just not as simple as saying it's all bad because how do you even know? You don't know. I mean, we have a lot of high-profile reasons to be very angry at the way police systems are being run. Hell, you live in the state where the biggest mess in recent memory happened in 2020 and caused some of the biggest riots we've ever had and the biggest protests and all that other stuff. So I know, especially right now, we're at a point where, systematically massive overhauling needs to take place. What police are actually responsible for, what they're actually committed to do in a community. Stand around and not try to save those kids in Texas. Like, that's busted. It's just freaking busted. I get all that, but I know this guy and I know his heart and I know him and I know at least a couple of others, maybe not as well, but I know him for sure is not this guy. I know a listener who's a policeman who I do not think is the problem at all. So I got so defensive about this, and I don't know what that mechanism is in me that did that, because the answer can't just be, everybody's out, we're done. Like, when is that the answer? I don't know when that's ever the answer to anything. If that's the answer, that's just like scorched earth. I don't know when you do that or how you do that. So I guess what I'm saying is that well, I guess we'll get to this and what kind of defense mechanism this is, but is that a normal one, or was I up in the night? Was I crazy?
That's not a Freudian defense mechanism. That's well, okay, so we'll clarify the difference, but let's stick with that for a minute. You feel defensive because you know a person, right? Yeah. And that's because you have access to a little data set. It's not big enough or scientifically rigorous enough to really prove anything, other than it means you cannot just jump into one tribe or the other. Right. And so just let me share a brief thing. If anyone has a fan of Hidden Brain, there was an episode recently that you should check out about sort of tribalism, and it's this researcher who she goes to a Yankees game wearing a Boston t-shirt with her date who's a Boston fan, and she hates baseball and is not a fan of either, didn't care, but by the end is ready to get in a fist fight with a Yankees fan. Yeah. And how this is her research is all about this, but just this very amazing, quick tribal identity that we get into. So another example, she's done tons of research on this, and one being 5 minutes ago, I assigned a group to wear red shirts and assigned a group to wear blue shirts. And within 5 minutes, I can get them to talk trash about the other ones. I can get them to demonize them to, if something bad happens to someone wearing a red shirt and you're a blue shirt, you're finding joy in that. In fact, they can measure your facial muscles to see if you smile at all subtly when you hear something terrible happened to whoever your arch rival is.
Yeah.
I mean, we have this built-in very quick. I mean, that sounds so stupid. 5 minutes ago, you were assigned to a group. They've done this with just separating people in rooms and saying, okay, there's a group of people in another room coming up with their ideas. Let's get them. Like we're immediately in the Thunderdome. Like we're just, it's kind of a built-in thing. So you take this topic of a difficult, nuanced, problematic, systemic, I mean, there's so many underlying things happening here, and there's no all good people or all bad people anywhere. In fact, there's not even a person who's all good or all bad, let alone groups of people who are all good or all bad.
Yeah.
And so you have all of that, and you get some information that makes you not tribal. So you could go the other way around. I bet I could, the minute I said to you, hey, Scott, here's a group of people who think the police are the greatest thing that's ever happened, and they're just keeping us from all the nightmare that would be without it, and you need to praise them, you'd be like, what?
Yeah, I would have, that's funny. I hadn't even thought of it that way. I would of course balk at that. So would my friend, by the way. He would be like, oh, that's not how it works.
And that's the conundrum is that, and this is what's hard about getting news from whatever source you decide is the right one, is you do the one that feels good, and usually that feels like someone else is bad. Or or what's the word? Predictability, or feels safer to you. Because in the end, we're, as human beings, our tribes are about safety, our relationships are about safety, which this is where it ties into these defense mechanisms. When we don't feel safe, our internal system has a bunch of things it can do to try to maintain safety. And in your case, it doesn't feel really safe to have everyone bash the police with no nuance. Either, right? You've benefited by living in a police state. Everyone has.
Yeah.
You've also been harmed by it, but not as much as certain people have been harmed by it, right?
Yeah.
And so everybody has some skin in the game in here somewhere, right? But if you take either one extreme position or the other, you're going to make someone feel unsafe. And when people feel unsafe, they start to use certain techniques. Okay, so I want you guys to guess what techniques. So Scott, you were defensive.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Not of the, by the way, not of the institution. I'm just defensive of my friend who's a really good guy trying to do a nice job. That's it.
Defensive of nuance, right? You're defensive of like, hold on, can we think about this? And you're doing it in the medium of Twitter, which is like so good at nuance, right? Okay.
Yeah, no, I realize the forum that I'm in is not the best place for nuance. There's no question.
And
about that.
And taking these examples of the, the red and blue team T-shirts, or the Yankees and Boston fans, or the, like the demonization of the other is the only way you can stay out. That's how you stay out of nuance. Nuance means knowing somebody and connecting with somebody and having another piece of information about what's going on. Right. Anyway, so you defensive of your friend. That was protective. It was, this isn't fair. That's kind of more of an outward version of maybe some of these mechanisms, but we're going to get to some of the more internal ones. Okay, so any guesses? Can you name, without Googling you two, name a common defense mechanism in terms of, kind of this Freudian model? Any idea?
Is there a just walk away kind of, or, ignore it and move on, or a...
yeah. Ooh, you're getting close to number one.
Oh, really?
Look
Okay.
at you,
Yeah,
Brian.
number one is denial.
Oh,
okay.
sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, the sort of repression is number two, and that's like not even seeing it. So you combined the for number one and two. Pretty good.
Nice. Excellent.
All right. And Scott, you got one you want to guess?
On a Freudian level, defense mechanism. My brain goes to people don't like being told what to do. So like, I don't know if we're close to anything there, but like even basic stuff, like, I don't know, if your HOA says you can't have rocks in your front garden, we're going to fine you. You get very defensive about that because you feel like the man's keeping you down.
Gotcha. Good. Yeah, you're both tapping into, really common stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so before we go, and I want us to go through, we're going to go to the top most common ones, okay?
Yeah.
And we're going to find slight examples of each, just because I think it's interesting for people to hear it outside of their internal world, and then they can kind of see it, right?
Yeah.
That's what's so tricky about us as humans is our defense mechanisms make it so we can't always hear each other, right? Or we can't always see reality.
Is that worse because we're doing a lot of it through keyboards and not?
Yes, 100%. And you can see that as we go through. But I first want to just note what is problematic about these. So sometimes defense mechanisms can actually serve you and help you get through life. Every one of us uses a defense mechanism when we get into a car.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have it when you get on a plane. It's gonna You're like, we're gonna die, right?
Well,
but
some
you're
people,
not,
but yeah, I
probably.
get it.
But in a car, you might.
Yeah.
But you have to have something happening that prevents you from seeing reality, right? And so we're using these to our advantage. Like, there's an advantage. I can live my life and drive my car around, I guess. But I wouldn't otherwise if I had to feel the real fear of that every time I got in the car.
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes these are helpful. Sometimes you learn them as kids and they really start to backfire as an adult, that kind of thing. But I want to just give you a quick list of how you know it's getting in your way and it's problematic. Okay. And you might hear these and go, oh, this is all of us in modern life. Okay,
Yeah.
ready? Feeling sad or depressed, having difficulty getting out of bed, avoiding daily activities, things or people that once made you happy, having difficulty forming or maintaining healthy relationships, and communication problems that hinder your professional or personal life. So if you have any of those, you might be like, oh, that's depression. Well, sometimes overuse of these things can actually lead to this because it disrupts your life's function.
What if you only got
Okay,
one or two of those? What does that mean?
Okay. All right. So let's start with number one. This is the most common. Denial.
Denial.
It's the most common.
Okay.
And it occurs when you refuse to accept reality or facts. So what does that look like? It's when somebody will basically block external events or circumstances. I mean, you've had conversations with people who can only hear what they want to hear.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And really, if you really think about what might be happening, it's that they just don't want to deal with the emotional impact. This is where I'm dangerous in conversations with people because I don't keep arguing my point to them. I get real curious about where they got their point from. And that's really scary sometimes for people.
Oh, they don't like it
Because-
at all. They hate it.
No, and it's because that's not what their plan was. The plan was to break down your argument, not to analyze their own. But really, I don't understand where they're coming from. So I had a conversation with someone once about Trump. They thought he was literally the savior. He was going to save all these children. And I just said, I don't understand what you're talking about. What is he doing for children?
Yeah.
And I was sincere. Like, I don't,
tell
I
me,
don't
please.
watch your media, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
She's like,
Convince
you
me
know.
genuinely.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, Google it. I'm like, I can't Google Trump. He's like, I'm not going to get to it. So I just said, like, no, truly, help me understand what you really like about him. Well, she doesn't really like him. She can't. She doesn't. She just needed to fight. And I was like, oh, okay. So then what I'm doing is, and this is dangerous, so I don't recommend it all the time, is I'm pulling down the denial part of like, there are other options to think about here. It's I'm right. I have to be right. And again, come back to this safety piece.
Yeah.
I am safe defending my point because over here, this feels important to me. And for whatever reasons that may be, right? And this is going to show up a lot in interpersonal relationships, right? Like I just am not going to see the thing that's true in front of me.
You're like Jordan
because it's
Kepler, by the way.
painful.
That's what Jordan Kepler does for the
Oh my gosh,
Klepler,
yeah,
Klepper,
he is-
whatever it is. You know who I'm talking about in the Daily Show?
Totally. I have a hard time watching it because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
very brave.
Because this is what he does.
Nice.
He's doing this very thing. He'll turn it. He's not confronting and he's not
No.
argumentative. He's just letting them try to explain themselves into a whole. It's amazing. He's amazing.
Right. And it
Freaking love him.
and it works with anyone who is holding so tightly to something as an identity and as fact or truth to feel cure. And we all do it. Nobody is immune from this, right?
Yeah.
So you'll hear people say, oh, they're in denial. Like, you've met people in denial before. You've seen it. You can picture it. But when you're the one in it, man, denial has a lot of houses in it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people live in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's denial. All right, so that one's, I gave an example. So you guys have to give examples of the next ones. Okay, repression is the second one. This is unsavory thoughts, painful memories, irrational beliefs that upset you. So instead of facing them or working through things or talking them through or getting help, you just choose to hide them, hoping they go away.
So you are acknowledging that they exist. You're just choosing to like, let's forget about that.
Yes, and hoping they just fade or go away.
Okay, all right.
And some of that okay, do you have any examples of this you can think of? You don't have to share your own, but just like repressing.
You just kind of want to
something.
go
I probably
away.
do, but if I've repressed them, then I'm not gonna.
Yeah, talk about someone else. Then.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, what about the people who just want COVID to go away? That's like a big general one, though. But that's in the form of denial. It's like, whatever. It's like the flu. I'm not going to stop my life for this. I'm just going to, that whole thing. Is that a form of that?
I mean, I think so. Or maybe even on like more individual levels, you could find a large number of people who maybe they're grown up or are very religious and they repress sexual thoughts or they repress negative thoughts that, are like, I'm a bad person because I think this, that type of thing.
Right.
That can be a really common form of this. Just where you're not supposed to, or you've been through something, rough and it's still a person in your life who was maybe abusive to you or something. And you just, it's too painful to see your mother at family dinner every week and really think about how she treated you when you were younger or something, right? So that repression. So this is a very common thing people work on in therapy is stuff they've been trying to shove down, and it will cause problems, right?
Yeah.
It's never a good thing. Okay, so this is one. This is one that's fun. This is projection. I feel like this should be bumped to number one.
Projection should. It feels like projection has moved up in the ranks to me, but
it really has. It's
how
now
to get at number one.
Taking the lead. Okay, so projection, I'll define it, and then I want you to think of some that you've seen. Some thoughts or feelings you have about another person or group that make you uncomfortable, but then you project those feelings and misattribute them to the other person, right? So example is you dislike your new coworker, but instead of accepting that, you choose to tell yourself that they dislike you.
Oh, I see.
So everything they do, you're interpreting as
Sure.
You can do this with yourself too, right? Like
Oh,
something
yeah.
you hate about yourself and you project it onto somebody just to pile onto something you might not like about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
100%.
I think that's totally it. Is this the same thing as when I hate to go big or go home here, but like if you're let's say you're a preacher and every week you tell your congregation that gay people are terrible and drugs are bad, and then on the weekend after, on the days that you're not up in the podium, you're hiring male prostitutes and taking meth as an example.
Yeah,
that's projection, right? I mean, that's literally you living away and then telling everyone else they're
you're
wrong.
projecting it onto.
Yeah, that's what I always think of. I know it's an extreme example, but it's what I always think of when someone says projection is they're judging somebody or giving somebody else crap for a thing that they actually do. Mm-hmm. Which it can be minor, even it can be even just nothing. It could be like, oh, I'm on Twitter saying that guy in traffic was a butthole, but also I'm probably a butthole sometimes in traffic, like that.
Yeah, totally. That's projection. The next one kind of explains a piece of it too. Right. And so you can look at historical examples of, like the woman who started Mothers Against Drunk Driving eventually worked for Budweiser. Like what?
Yeah.
Like there's some, and this is everybody, right? I don't have to talk about abortion, but there are plenty of Republicans who have had abortions or had their girlfriends get abortions or, okay, it's good for us, but not for somebody else. Like those are the examples of like, I can't actually feel the feeling of disliking my coworker because that makes me a bad person. So I flip it so it's tolerable. So
Oh, gotcha.
isn't that weird? It's more comfortable to be disliked in your making up of the story than it is to actually dislike the person. And so you can see how this might happen in lots of ways. So displacement is number 4, and that's fairly similar. It's where you are, like it's an example of having a bad day at work and then taking it out on somebody else. You're displacing your experience or emotions onto someone else's. So that's why, I'm always suspect when anyone is exploding online about something. If you got curious and compassionate and they would talk to you, you would find there is a reason that vitriol's coming out. And it's because there was vitriol that came in at some point. And it may be projection, it may be displacement, it may be a bunch of these different things. But if you think about how this impacts your relationships, imagine you're projecting your feelings on other people on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Means you aren't in connection with your own feelings.
Yeah.
And you can't have a real relationship with someone who cannot connect to their own emotional thing. And let alone that, they then put on you whatever the heck they're actually feeling. So you're not a real person.
So I had an experience that I can't believe I didn't tell on the show. It's actually a long time ago, so I would have to have remembered it, but I just thought of it. There was some time ago, I don't know, probably 15 years ago or something. I was driving, and the person in front of me I thought was being so stupid, like pumping their brakes when they shouldn't, going too slow. I try to change lanes, they move over, like just being the dumbest traffic ever, right? And I finally got to a place where I could get out and pass them and get in front of them. And I do that, and I didn't flip him off or anything, but I look over at him, and I'm going to give him this face and kind of, mouth like, learn how to drive or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a guy I know who is the sweetest, nicest man. He's older, really nice guy who was like always super sweet. He would mow our lawn. No one would ask or say or do it. Like just the nicest neighbor guy I knew him. And it just hit me in the face. I was like, oh my gosh, it's that guy. And why? I would never say anything bad to him. I don't care how bad he drives. It doesn't matter. Like I already know he's great. What am I doing? And then I felt like the biggest idiot that day. Because I just was like, I was as mad at him as I was any stranger ever in traffic. And then I'm like, oh no, this is like being mad at my grandpa or something. You can't do that.
Yeah. But maybe someone should get his license.
Yeah, I mean, the truth, the technical truth is maybe he was driving beyond his years. But my point is,
sure.
Like I'm no longer mad. In fact, if anything, I was like suddenly compassionate. I was like, oh no, oh shoot, well maybe I should help him. Like I had this different reaction because that knowledge of who he was. And by the way, I'm making this face, and he looked back at me and smiles and waves. It was really weird. It's a really weird memory for me.
Was it a quick adjustment of like?
Oh yeah, hey, it's you. What's up? Like I'm glad.
But you have BRF, so he might just be thinking, oh, that's Scott.
Yeah,
right.
I do have BRF or RBF.
That's your cover, man.
Yeah. I do have a grumpy face. You have a helpful face. I got the grumpy one. Thanks a lot, Mom.
Yeah, I'm happy to get that thing off the top of the shelf for you again. Okay, so that's a great story. I think projection. But projection is I'm late, and this guy's a terrible driver, and that fury that you should feel it yourself for dinking around and being late goes towards someone else, and then gets exemplified or amplified because you're in traffic.
Yeah.
Right. So projection is happening all day long for all of us. And displacement similarly is very common, where we're just getting whatever feeling or frustration we have towards something else. We take it out on who's ever easier to take it on. So you can't take it on your boss, so you lose your job. So you go home and, berate your child for not doing the dishes.
Sure.
So you can see how these types of ways to handle our emotions are dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Because it starts to impact your relationship with your kid, which has nothing to do with them. Your bad day at work has nothing to do with that kid, but now it does. And so you can see how this gets more and more dramatic as time goes on. Okay, number 5 is regression.
Regression. Okay.
Yeah. So this is essentially, and it's really easy to see this with younger children, but it's when somebody who feels threatened or really anxious, they may unconsciously escape to an earlier stage of development. So a kid, you'll see like something stressful happens, they go get their binky and their blanket that they haven't used in years.
Right.
Or wetting the bed, sucking their thumb. Those are like really obvious forms of child regression. But adults can do this too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's not, it's just that, again, that nurturing safety, fetal position, right? Maybe holding on to your stuffed animal again, or comforting foods. Overeating comforting foods can be a form of this, right? Something with chewing, or chewing on a pencil or a pen, or smoking. Those kind of mouth behaviors sometimes can be regressive acts.
Yeah.
And then a really common version of regression is just like, I'm just going to stay home and play video games and watch TV and not do anything.
Yeah.
Like just feeling overwhelmed, and so you regress to a state of not adulthood, right?
Yeah.
And we all do it. We all feel this.
Sounds really good right now.
Yeah, I know, right? It's very tempting.
Yeah.
Right.
And we worry when we watch a kid do it, but I just think it's so common among adults, we've stopped paying attention.
Yeah.
Okay. So rationalization. There's a couple here that are gonna hit home for most people. So rationalization is, I think we use this more commonly in language, right? But it's when people attempt to explain undesirable behavior with their own set of facts, right?
Yeah.
So it lets you feel comfortable with the choice you made, even if on another level it was not a good decision.
Right.
So do you guys have any examples of rationalization? Any rationalization you've done lately?
Lately?
Well, here, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
You didn't get a promotion at work,
No.
and then you say to yourself, well, I didn't want it anyway. And you tell the
Oh,
people you didn't
right,
want it
right.
anyway.
Sour grapes approach.
Oh, that's okay. That's an interesting one.
You just change the facts to make yourself feel better.
Yeah, I got one. Okay, so I got fresh blood work done. And I knew going into this blood work that my last 3 months were not the 3 months I was hoping to provide to my physicality.
Yeah.
I had goals and I didn't reach them. And I also cheated a bunch and on what kind of food I ate. My blood work came back high on my A1C again. Not super high, like dangerous high, but high enough to like, I regressed basically, as to use that word again. And I know what I have to do to fix it. But my initial reaction was, well, I mean, look at the world. Look at all the stuff we're dealing with. Look at it. No wonder I sat and ate that bag of chips that night. Of course.
Of course I have to eat like this because I'm coping with what's going on in the world.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and then I was like, oh, this isn't my fault. Somehow I lost 2 pounds in 3 months, but this is still a problem. I mean, it was all my own fault, but I still had these feelings of like, well, where else can I push some of this regret? Mm-hmm. That isn't me.
Yeah, because that's hard to have the full weight of responsibility on your shoulders. And yet, and if you think of, and I keep bringing this back to relationships contextually, right?
Yeah.
Like you rationalize your bad behavior, and you do it so much, you start to see that like other people, you're not taking responsibility for your life. You're not as trustworthy. You're maybe the other person just doesn't know what you really, I don't know, like you're just not taking accountability, and that has impacts in any relationship, right? And we're really convincing, right? Like I'm always late leaving out the door. I'm always the last one. I've done a million stupid things on the way out. Like literally one time I was mopping as I walked out. Like it's just how I get crap done in my life, and it means I'm late and everyone's in the car waiting. And I get in the car and I'm instantly like, let me tell you all the things I've done, And Adam's just quiet. And he's just like, yep, I know. and it's so I don't have to take responsibility for making everyone late. I get to be the hero for having mopped the kitchen floor or whatever. And so it's funny how this can just sort of build in your life. And you may not realize the damage that it does. I realize the damage it does, but I still do it. So no judgment. Okay. Number 7, sublimation. Have you heard this one before?
No.
Not without the word die before it.
Sublimation.
Sublimation.
Okay, so this type of defense mechanism is considered a mature positive strategy. That's because people who rely on it choose to redirect strong emotions or feelings into an object or activity that is appropriate and safe. So, for example, instead of lashing out at your coworkers during a stressful shift, you choose to channel your frustration into your kickboxing class. So the difference between I have a bad day at work and I go home and I kick the dog, I go home and I kickbox. right? But so you funnel or redirect the feelings into music, art, sports. You sublimate rather than letting it destroy relationships.
So it's like positive redirection.
Yep.
Okay. So that's a good
So maybe
thing.
you guys do it. That's number 7.
So that's a good thing. You should do that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
making
number 8, reaction formation. This is people use this when they recognize how they feel, but they choose to behave in the opposite manner of their instincts. So it would be, an example might be, let's see, they feel you feel like you shouldn't express any negative emotions like anger or frustrations. So instead, you react in overly positive ways. So I don't know if you've ever done this, but you've surely been around someone who has.
Yeah.
You know who's a great example? Is the Page on 30 Rock. What's his name?
30 Rock. Kenneth, yeah.
Kenneth. Kenneth is a person who has reaction formation. It's
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So really common.
Hot.
funny
That's
way.
the devil's temperature.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So this one is really common. The next two are probably, I think, should be 1 and 2. Well, I think projecting should be 1. I think 9 and 10 are really pretty common, especially, in modern life. So compartmentalization. So sometimes you think this is all good, right?
Oh yeah, no, people praise compartmentalization, but it hasn't been my experience. It's just holding it back until it explodes.
Yeah. So it's really just putting your life into independent sectors to protect each other, each part from each other, and essentially, keeps these lines, and so to keep you safe.
Yeah.
So an example might be you never talk about your personal life at work, or
Right.
you block off or compartmentalize work from your
Politics or religion or anything like that.
And
Yeah.
some of that we have to do nowadays, don't we?
Tina's new job is working with Adult Protective Services, and she sees
wow.
kind of the horrific ways that people treat their grandparents, just like taking advantage of them, like, oh, grandma, let me go ahead and help you with your bank account. Can I have your account number and password and all that?
Lame.
And so I don't know how Tina comes home and is still positive and is still cheerful, because she doesn't appear to be compartmentalizing. She will talk about her work and she will talk about these things and still be like, but I helped 5 people today, or I really felt good to help this one person. And she just does this amazing job of, I don't know if that is,
well, maybe she's doing it. She's processing with
probably.
you. Yeah, that's the key, I think, isn't it?
Well,
Just to talk about
and
it.
it can lead
was,
to. Well, I was just gonna say it can lead to some beneficial compartmentalization. Like if we had every ER professional take their work home every minute of they can't function in their lives, and this is why you have compassion burnout, and this is why you have folks in these intense situations that just can't keep doing it. Like it's really so it's necessary on one hand. I think when we get to the extreme of compartmentalization, you start to block off emotionally, or there can be other challenges, but it can be beneficial. Some people just can't even do it, and some people do it maybe a little too much.
I can't do it.
Okay.
Kim can do it. That is the simplest way to describe Kim and I and how we differ in that one way. She is very good at tucking everything away in the compartment it was meant for. And I cannot do that. I am processing 100% of the time. I process all day. Like, I'm going to go up after this show and go, how was the show? It was great. We talked to Wendi. We did this, and blah, 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 and I'm going to process. And she's going to be like, I'm busy. Leave me alone. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Enough with your list.
Yeah.
Okay, so the final one is intellectualization. And this one's interesting because I work with a number of very brainy people who are paid and praised and have been praised since they were precocious youngsters to intellectualize everything.
Yeah.
And so it is real tough to get through sometimes. And this is when you are hit with a trying situation and you are just trying to remove all emotions from your responses, just focus on facts, make a spreadsheet that's gonna solve the problem, that type of thing.
Sure.
And that gets you in trouble in some of the sort of the requirements to have emotional connection. But it's really powerful stuff. You get praised. It's hard when some of these things are praised and they don't allow you to have other things that are healthy in your life because everyone needs you to be this or that because that's what you've been to them or whatever.
Right. They've compartmentalized you. I mean, parents do it. We label our kids, and growing up, that was super obvious in our house. Everybody had a label, and it seemed fun in a way to go, oh, he's my sensitive one, or she's my smart one, or she's my helpful one, or she's the rebellious one, or whatever. That's fun when your neighbors are over, but your kids hear it, and then they think that's what they are, and then they actually become that thing.
Right.
And if you're lucky, you were one of the positive labels. I guess. I don't know. Even then, now you got something to live up to, and
yeah, but then you can't be something else, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty weird.
Yes. Okay, so those are the fun top 10. And so if anyone's listening, you're like, wait, what? I realize I'm doing one of these things.
Yeah.
And I am also feeling crappy or having trouble in my relationships, or I'm communicating poorly at work or at home. It would be worth, if you're seeing a therapist, to bring it up and talk about some of them, or, get to know this a little bit better. What's really helpful. So my early training was with sex offenders, and this was crucial to their care, was to really go deep into defense mechanisms, because they have behaved in ways that they found even repulsive and hated themselves, and so they're not all one thing. And so you'd have to figure out, how do you go from how you see yourself to doing something so horrendous? How do you recover? And a big piece of that was to really look at how are you using these mental mechanisms to protect yourself from hard truths, hard feelings, hard stuff, and like really learn to sort of stop using those things and allow yourself to feel. It's tricky. And this is why, Tina is amazing. There is some hard work people have to do in every community out there that goes usually unfunded, underfunded, but just that humans can do some things to each other that are not okay. And that damage, especially when it starts in childhood, has this impact of just feelings aren't safe. It's not okay to be scared. It's not okay.
Yeah.
Your voice isn't heard, et cetera, et cetera. And it, your psyche builds all these ways to protect yourself, going forward. So yeah, these are a thing you're doing. There's a reason. And someone can usually help you with it.
There you go. Defense mechanisms, everybody. Take all that advice, compartmentalize it, and then
find the one that's right for you.
No, that's great. I don't know. I felt like I needed some closure on my Twitter fiasco this week with this thing with my cop buddy. So
redirect it and get a punching bag.
There you go.
And put a big blue bird on it.
Yep.
And the question too, I mean, this is to go back to that. There is some healthy ways to handle it. There is some,
yeah.
But there is also, I mean, curiosity kills the argument, where it's just like, okay, so tell me what has happened in your own life that got you to this conclusion.
Yeah,
and
I gotta do that.
There's a lot of white people who've never had one bad interaction with a cop, who are feeling like good allies and jumping to the defense of others, and trying to do all of that thing. But what is their reason that they're feeling that way? And then what do you do when your neighbor across the street's an awesome guy and he's a cop? How do you rectify that? Our brains are kind of crappy to do anything that isn't tribal, protectionistic, et cetera. It takes effort. It takes communication. It takes exposure. It takes actually looking. The irony is when people say, do your research, like it really would be great if people did open-minded research that isn't just finding what you already believe. It's like talking to another human, and this is why we have research, right? In the end, is you got to talk to 1,000 people for it to feel valid, because one person isn't, enough. So, I mean, there are versions of, are you being curious? Ask yourself the next time you're in a Twitter fight, are you being curious at all about where that other person came to this position? And most of the time we are not. We are in full armor mode.
Yeah, almost 100% of the time we're not.
Right. And that's because you don't have a face, and you don't have a person, and you don't have to go to the store with them next week, And so it's really tricky. I know what I'm saying is like almost ridiculous, because it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
But there is a version of, and even in your own personal life and people you are connected to, If you stop trying to make your point and try to understand them first, it's shocking what will happen. A, their thing will fall apart, or they will have a very good reason that you will get. And not that it'll change your mind, but you'll get that they're afraid that the police will be taken away. And what will they do to feel safe? Because this is how they felt safe.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Versus you're a danger to the rest of us because you still want to feel safe. Now, there's other nuances. I mean, nuance is dead, and let's be honest. Okay.
Nuance and irony
I
are
like
sharing a grave.
I like
but-
to act hopeful, and then it breaks apart.
Yeah.
Well, it's good though. This is a good topic. I really enjoyed this one, so I'm glad you. We kind of last minuted it too, but it's one of my favorites we've done in a long time.
I mean, we could always jump in with psychological principles that are a little underrepresented in conversations.
Yeah.
You know.
So if we don't have one of your emails one week, you guys, we'll find a way. Nature finds a way.
We'll find a way.
Yeah.
We'll get weird. So you might want to send in some emails.
Yeah, get those emails in here before we get too weird. That email address is themorningstream@gmail.com, or if you're already connected with Wendy's stuff, you can always contact her and let her know. However we get them, we'll get them, and we'll talk about them here on the show. Wendy, this weekend is, of course, the big dumb 24th of July holiday thing, and everyone's coming over but you, and that makes me sad, but I hope you guys have a nice, safe
I mean,
one
I
there.
wasn't even invited. Maybe I would have come.
I doubt that, but, if you did, it would have been great. But John already texted and says, what's the main dish? And I'm like, I don't know. So I'm going to try not to be defensive. I'm going to try
to make some type of Asian dish. That would be called.
Kim almost did that. She almost said, we're making sharshuka or some kind of weird, psycho thing that he would think is on a different planet because he hates anything. If it's not
pasta.
If it's not pasta and boring American food, he's out. So
that's so funny.
It's a good deterrent. Yeah.
Yes. There is a defense mechanism there.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay. Anyway, my best to all of you and whatever statehood day you guys have in Minnesota, which is probably a lot less fireworky. But enjoy that. And we'll talk to you next week. Have a good one.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. It was a good one today. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Yeah. Next week is going to be an interesting animal with Vegas. Like how, because I have a Rode
it's in
microphone.
A week. That's so weird to me.
It is weird.
I don't know how July. Whatever. I know I complain about time.
I know. It flew by. Yeah.
Get it. But anyway, yeah, we'll figure it out. If you take a little
I've got
something.
a Rode microphone that I can use in the hotel room. We'll just have to figure out timing and that sort of thing.
Yeah. We'll figure it out, you guys. We'll do our best, our very best.
The Wednesday is going to be tricky. The Wednesday may not be me. So
yeah. If not, we'll either get a guest or we'll figure out something.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for your trip and you dodging COVID balls the whole time you're there.
Dancing, what is it? Dodging raindrops or something like that?
Yeah. How's that go? That's a great song.
It is
something
a great song,
dodging raindrops. Oh, it's that band. I love that. Who is that? Now it's going to bug me. Oh, 311. It's 311.
311.
Yeah. It's a really good song. All right. That's it for the show. Everybody, thank you for being here. Quick note, we got a bunch of shows coming up. Core tonight at 5:30. Of course, Coverville today. 1 still, right? 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Mountain Time. Yep.
So watch for that. That'll be great.
Mountain Time.
If you guys want a big roundup of what I did with that Steam Deck, Core is the show to check in on tonight.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it'd be good to see that. There will be a Guest the Connection tomorrow before the couch party. So 2 p.m. Mountain Time, twitch.tv/Coverville. So win a prize before you come to the couch party. And I can tell you the prize because it got the person who won last time was out of the U.S., so the prize includes those Mario salt shakers, Mario and Luigi salt and pepper shakers. And I know you have a set of those, don't
They're
you, Scott,
awesome.
or?
Yeah, I love those things.
Yes.
They're great.
Yeah.
I wish Luigi was making a side-eye kind of Luigi face.
It's salt.
Hey, Mario. Anyway, yeah, so there's that. Then this weekend, Film Sack, we're doing the Transporter 2.
Yeah,
because
I watched it last night, and
is it better or worse than the first? Is it?
Some of each, right? There's some parts that are better.
Yeah.
There are some parts that are worse, and there is one scene that just had me saying, "No freaking way!"
More than deflecting a missile with a metal tray.
More than deflecting a missile with a metal tray. Wow. There is one thing that that I can't wait to talk about that happens.
I can't believe there's something weirder than that.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, and like you mentioned, for patrons, we got the couch party on Friday.
Yeah.
3 p.m. We're doing the first 2 episodes of Loki. Yeah, that's right, Loki. You heard us.
Loki. Oh my gosh, Scott, we're breaking your Loki streak.
Yep, breaking my Loki streak. I'm glad you didn't say something else. Anyway, so that's
your Loki cherry.
There you go. That's what you meant
Didn't
to
want
say.
me to say.
Patreon.com/TMS is how you support the show. And if you're looking for everything else, it's over at frogpants.com/TMS. We mentioned it before, but we'll say it again. Our email is themorningstream@gmail.com. You are all welcome to use that anytime you want. That's going to do it. Brian, we got to play him out, though. And I know you prepared some sort of request here. What do we got?
I've prepared it. I've served it up, heated it, warmed it on a hot plate.
Well,
and this one is going out to Furry Viking. Hello, Covermaster and Mr. Johnson. My birthday is July 25th. Back in 2014, I sent in a birthday request at a point when a lot was about to change. The woman I proposed to is now my wife, and I could not be happier about it. I left my hometown and a job I loved to get my degree at the age of 40 back in 2015. I graduated in 2019 with honors. Now I'm getting ready to shake things up again in hopes that fortune favors the bold one more time. I'm accepting a job offer that will relocate the both of us and create a host of new opportunities.
Wow.
Having said all that, a TMS birthday request seems like the perfect tradition to set off on the next set of adventures with my lovely wife. My request this go-round is a cover by one of the few bands that Heather and I both agree on, AWOL Nation. They released a cover album this year and did a fantastic cover of Take a Chance on Me. Since she took a chance, and my new employer did as well, this seems particularly poetically perfect. If you could plug this one on the 25th or somewhere near it, I would be ever so grateful. TMS remains one of the things that I look forward to on a regular basis. So a big thank you to Scott, Brian, the TMS All-Stars, and the Tadpole. Thank you all for providing some positive energy in this crazy world we live in. Hopefully it's not too early for a test of the ship's bacon cheddar ranch scooters.
Oh, man. He wants it all.
Good luck. He wants it all.
Okay, hold on here.
That last one should take Scott a minute if he can find it at all.
Yeah.
LOL.
So here's this one.
Let's test the ship's phasers.
What was the other one? Tender crisp bacon deal.
The
Tender crisp bacon cheddar ranch.
What else
Not
was
too
it?
early for a fish sandwich.
Too early.
Hey, it's too early to get a fish sandwich.
Right.
And then what?
Now the pièce de résistance, scooters.
Oh, scooters. Shit. You're right. It is harder. Hold on.
Yes.
I'm going to find it. It's so old.
It
Scooters.
is old.
Okay, I found it. Oh.
Don't want to offend nobody.
No, that's just a lady. Here.
We got scooters.
I can once again. Oh, no, I did find it.
We got scooters.
No, it's another. Sorry. I don't have the lady. All right. You got a little bit of these kids, so it's fine.
That's all right. That's all you're getting. Love the show, though, Furry Viking. And happy birthday. Give him a happy birthday.
Okay, we can do that. Oh, real quick here, though. That Scooters one with this little Sebastian voice. This one.
We got scooters.
So that kid's probably, what, 3 at the time?
Right.
That was 2011?
He's now 27.
That's 2011. That would make him... Sorry, what would that make him?
11 years, 14.
14 years old. Think of that. Oh, he's getting boners and everything. He's like going to school and doing all the stuff boys do. Anyway.
Wow. All right.
Anyway, happy birthday. Sorry, hold on. We got to play that one.
Happy birthday to you.
There you go. Done.
That's the best one. All right. AWOL Nation and Jewel. Yeah, Jewel got together with for this one. This is from the My Echo, My Shadow, My Covers, and Me, which came out this last year. One of my favorite cover albums of the year. Maybe my favorite. We'll just have to see when the end of the year rolls around. Here is ABBA's Take a Chance on Me.
All right, that's it. We'll see you guys soon on the weekend for you patrons. Everybody else, we'll see you on Monday. Bye now. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com. Oh, all right.